as the newly appointed ministers hit the ground running in their various ministries. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tuga, played host to the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, led by the Chairman CEO, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, management and staff, at the Tafawa Balewa House, Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters in Abuja. It was a briefing that ended in high commendation of NIDCOM's giant strides since its establishment 4 years ago. The Diaspora this week will give you a blow-by-blow account of what transpired. It promises to be interesting and informative. It's simply unmissable. And of course, do not forget our complimentary segments, which include health tips and our Diaspora of the moment. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your favorite show, The Diaspora. I am Shalewa Ajila, your anchor. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tuga, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 4D agenda of democracy, development, demography, and diaspora will be pursued closely. Take a listen.
When you talked about, having a place for the diaspora in the national honors, I think that would be a very, very good development if that were to happen, and perhaps we can work together towards achieving that, because it would provide for positive reinforcement for Nigerians in the diaspora, and they need that. You also talked about diaspora investment, which is key. We can see what the potential is from just the remittances, not to talk about, solid investments. But, it got me thinking about, because when we talk about diaspora, there's a tendency for us to focus on Europe, which is where I served as ambassador. But when you think that, when you look at other parts of the world, diasporans, Nigerians in Sudan, about 8 million. Saudi Arabia, and other places, even within the African continent. So we need to tap into that. And perhaps with regards to investment, then you start exploring the possibilities of perhaps a diaspora sukuk fund. These are things that we're already benefiting from sukuk funds, for roads, for infrastructure. So I would urge you to look, towards that as well, and the potentials therein. The support that, you provide for the diaspora, the assistance, the help, I think dovetails into what I came and found here, what my predecessor had done, Global Citizens Help Desk. It's new, it's ready to go, They've got spanking new computers, they've got desks, workstations. I think it needs to be utilized, and this is where, perhaps, you can collaborate. The Tinubu administration's 4D foreign diplomacy strategy, essentially democracy, diaspora, demography, and development. In no particular order, democracy speaks to the fact that Nigeria is the largest democracy on the continent. And for that reason, it can also relate with other democracies and try and build strong institutions, support rule of law and constitutional democracy as a whole. When we talk about demography, again, we're the largest country on the continent, and we are expected to become the third largest country in the world with a population of about 400 million. So after India, China, it's going to be us by 2050. So we need to utilize that, and that again touches on diaspora, we need to begin to look at our population, huge population, as a human resource and a positive thing, as opposed to a negative thing, and start training sections of our populace, in particular fields. Same way India did, training 50 million people, in IT, and they took off. So if we're able to do that, perhaps in certain sectors, then we turn it into an advantage. Not poverty, not illiteracy. We should not be looking at that. There are certain countries that leverage on their diaspora to actually influence or even, dare I say, push policy in other countries in spite of their size. I think Nigeria should be in a position to do that as well, only if our diaspora has a high literacy rate, they're skilled, they're professionals, and they are positioned in certain sectors of the economy where they're much needed. Then our voices will be heard. I hope that we'll be able to work together towards achieving the objectives of the Tinubu, what we're referring to as the Tinubu doctrine, vis-a-vis foreign policy.
Many thanks, Honorable Minister. Briefing the Minister, Chairman CEO, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, puts forward NIDCOM's scorecard. Please watch.
Remittances, Honorable Minister, everybody talks about remittances now, and we project that it's going to get better, particularly with the programs of this administration. So we're looking at $22 billion in 2021 and 2022, but I believe that with more advocacy, we can do even much more than that. And we're also saying that beyond remittances, the diaspora needs to invest in their own country, so we have programs on that. So remittances, as you know, Honorable Minister, is just for family work, but it has sustained the economy of Nigeria, but we can do much more than that. I'm glad to tell you, sir, that every state now has a diaspora focal point officer. So we're expecting new governors to give us I think we have already as many as can. So we actually to meet with them, because if you're talking about diaspora or you're investing in Nigeria, you're not coming to Abuja, you're going to your state. So we have decentralized to ensure that at every state there's a diaspora focal person to talk to. So we work effectively with them. We meet, we try to meet 3 or 4 times a year, resources permit, and we'll be holding another one hopefully before the end of the year. And then we have an annual diaspora summit. We've been doing that since 2019. Again, we introduced the presidential diaspora town hall meetings, and again, it has been very impactful. When Mr. President went to France, he has the first one in France, Paris, on his last visit. So, and we've had in several countries around the world, so we hope that under this administration, we'll have more engagements with the diaspora. We also created a weekly program on the NTA called the Diaspora, just our own way of seeing how we can project activities of our brothers and sisters abroad, because it shouldn't always be bad stories. Honorable Mr., I'm sure you're aware of the National Diaspora Day celebrations. I think we had the best one this year. It was really huge, it was fantastic, and we're proud of ourselves. So clap for yourselves for what you did, despite limited resources. And we introduced the first Diaspora Merit Award, which diasporans find very, very encouraging. So we hope to continue the second one next year, because we felt that you can't be doing all this without honoring you. So we hope that it's going to get bigger and better. And we are going to appeal to the federal government to include the diaspora in national honors. Maybe it's 1 or 2 or 3. There should be diaspora category in the national honors, those that are truly contributing to national development. We also have the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit. Again, the next one will take place in November. In the last 3 or 4 years, we have 10 hospitals come to set up by the diaspora. We've had businesses coming set up by the diaspora, education, ICT, food business, medicals. And again, I think there's a lot to be celebrated. And we're hoping, as we keep saying, that the diaspora, we'll be talking about a diaspora direct investment, not just foreign direct investment. And we're moving towards that stage, Honorable Minister. We've also established the Diaspora Investment Trust Fund. Again, it was done in this hall by the Honorable Minister and approved by the Federal Executive Council. The idea is to have the diaspora have an intentional investment to be run by them, to be driven by them, to be owned by them. So imagine 1,000 diaspora putting $1,000 together and say we're building a bridge in Abuja. It's their project. So we have that in place. The next thing is to now take off with the new administration. But all the T's and the lines have been dotted. We've also introduced, of course, you know about the medical missions, they come and go. Well, we're saying that you can be a bit more structured. So we have a program called the Diaspora Professional Healthcare Initiative with the Ministry of Health. It's about pulling our doctors together. We've also introduced the Diaspora Mortgage Program. Again, a very exciting one. One of the biggest problems is you want to own your own home, somebody takes your money away, goes to marry another wife rather than use it to build your own home for you. So we have a Diaspora Mortgage housing program for the diaspora where they can, with the touch of the button, own their own home. So we're working with the FHA and the Federal Mortgage Bank. And then another program we have is the Door of Return Festival. We stopped because of COVID, but we're going to have the next one October 19 to 25 this year. And again, Honorable Minister, you're going to be the special guest of honor. The idea is to encourage the historic African diaspora. They are coming to the continent. They are doing their DNA. They are saying, we are Nigerians. So we've had two, but we couldn't do it because of COVID. But you know what, Honorable Minister, they are the ones saying, we want to come. We want to come. So no resources, no money. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we had to listen to them. So it's about that. We call it the door of return, as against door of no return, or point of no return. So they come in, they walk through. I don't know, if you take that walk in Badagry, it's historical, it's significant, it's emotional. You know, so what we do is take that walk, they understand the story, and then they will receive them as kings and queens. They wear this our cloth, and you know, and it's also an economic and spiritual and physical connection to the continent. This year, our budget was 47 million for the whole year. So I don't know how we've been surviving, but somehow we've been surviving. So I'm hoping that under your leadership, we can get a better budget, at least to do basic job. And then again, a lot of diaspora programs and activities that I know will impact the growth and development of Nigeria under your leadership. Again, we are your babies, and we hope that we continue to carry us along and treat us like we're still your newest baby. And we continue to grow with you and contribute our quota. Once more, I want to thank the ministry for the support we have received, and we look forward to working with you further and further and fulfilling our mandate. We have our newsletters. We try to tell good stories about Nigeria, thanks to the media department who put all that together. This is our proceedings of our Diaspora Day, 2019, 2020. We're working on the one we just had, and 2021. We also had and 2022. We also had the Global African Diaspora Symposium, where we hosted about 60 countries that came to Nigeria for the Diaspora Summit. And then we did this publication, 660. You know, we keep saying we are the best in the world. We said, let's document some of it. We only limited it to 600. We're doing the next edition, but I don't know, if we say 60,000, we can put them in this book. And everybody's a success story. So we did this to celebrate our diasporas, and we're working on the next edition. So, Honorable Minister, sir, we're glad to present this.
Many thanks, Mama Diaspora, for your unbroken diaspora engagements. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Adamu Ibrahim Lomuwa, gave NIDCOM thumbs up.
With HMFA around, I believe maybe we should be looking towards having a NIDCOM attaché in our missions abroad.
Clap again.
Well, okay. Honestly speaking, I'm happy with the tune of the conversations. I believe, Your Excellency, the chairman will now take some of our consular responsibilities at post, because all this evacuation. but NIDCOM is about consular. The diaspora is about consular. I served in West Africa, where Nigerians don't need visa to travel to. Somebody would just enter a bus from Lagos up to Dakar. And by the time they get there, they become liabilities. Yeah. And with collaboration between the Commission and the Ministry, I believe we can do more. I know we have been doing a lot in terms of rescuing victims of trafficking with NATIP, but NITCOM can also play a role in that, particularly with distressed Nigerians. I remember the ones that happened in Beirut. The Commission played a very, very active role in rescuing those Nigerians stranded over there. So with HMFA around, the sky will not be our limit. We can do more. Thank
you. We don't still have a NITCOM office. We are scattered in the secretariat over there on 3-4 floors, and then we have an annex where 3/4 of our staff are 30 minutes from where the chairman is. So it's quite a tough issue. You know, several of our staff, you know, operate a system we call flexible. If you come, whichever seats you find, you sit. And if somebody else comes late, he stands. But thank you very much for this homecoming. And like our chairman said, all the staff said, look, we want to come and see our new minister. It's not that the management said come and follow us. So it was quite revealing to us the goodwill and the comradeship that has been developed. On the issue of the continental offices, actually in the law establishing NITCOM, we are supposed to have 4 continental offices, but because of the issue of funds, you know, we've had to step that for now. And thank God for technology. The internet and the Zoom technology has helped us in reaching out to globally, really. Like at the last National Diaspora Day, our embassy in Qatar joined in cutting the anniversary cake over there in Qatar, and we were all participants of it from here. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Honorable Minister, I think one thing we must underscore here is that Honorable Abike has introduced private sector drive and initiative into the public space, into government work. We have known in our days as a media practitioner, and we're happy that she has brought all of this. We need some of those zeal and drive in the ministry also. So once again, you are welcome home. We have other ministries which we can help you to break in through, like the one on earth, you know, and when you are bringing our diaspora medical practitioners, we're also ready to give them a platform to operate.
It's just to underscore the importance that the diasporans have increasingly become a very powerful force to reckon with. Remittances, activities, you know, span all through. So it's just to commend her, and then also welcome the complementarity between the NITCOM and the Foreign Ministry, and that's the way to go. So I just wanted to underscore that. Thank you.
Let's take a break for some messages.
We are particularly delighted by the fact that the cooperation between the government and diaspora is yielding positive results. The contributions of Nigerians in diaspora to national development are considerable. In 2019 alone, NITCOM has it that they contributed over $25 billion as home remittances to Nigeria. This amount represented about 83% of the national budget and about 6.1% of the GDP. I wish to recall that in recognition of the potential of the diaspora, the government of Nigeria has been articulating clear policy direction to effectively utilize, support, and engage the diaspora for national development. Notable efforts towards this goal include the creation in 2003 of the Nigerian National Volunteer Service, which was previously the main organization for diaspora engagement. the setting up of the House Committee on Diaspora Affairs Office and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, the establishment of an annual Diaspora Day celebration. It comes at the inception of the new government of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has shown from the outset a business-like disposition to uplifting the socio-economic well-being of Nigerians, wherever they may reside.
Up next is our health tips with Ampa Doctor.
Heart disease is a very common element that affects people worldwide, but particularly in Nigeria, it's a significant cause of morbidity and mortality. It affects over 11% of the population. And when you talk about heart disease, it includes, but it's not limited to, things like heart failure, coronary artery disease, which includes blockage of the vessels leading to the heart, that's sometimes related to what's described as a heart attack. Heart disease also affects the ability of the heart to pump blood effectively and could result in symptoms such as chest pain, shortness of breath, people coughing often, wheezing, not being able to walk long distances as previously being able to be tolerated, not being able to climb up on stairs, not being able to lie flat, and maybe needing to sit up while you're sleeping or being propped up with pillows. It's also associated sometimes with swelling of the lower extremities and sometimes puffiness of the face. Heart disease is associated with significant risk factors, and these risk factors sometimes are ascribed to having a more affluent lifestyle, lack of physical activity, eating more carbohydrate-rich foods that are low in nutrients and allow one to be predisposed to obesity, lack of exercise, smoking, and then otherwise things such as family history or genetics, hypertension, and diabetes. All of these things increase the likelihood of one getting heart disease.
And now, to our diaspora of the moment.
Our diaspora of the moment is Okoro Uzutechukwu Benjamin. Okoro hails from Ajali, Orumba North Local Government Area, Anambra State. After getting 8 A's in his WAEC in 2017, Okoro got a federal government scholarship to study at Voronezh University, Russia. He made a great use of the opportunity as he was given and completed his degree with a first class. The 25-year-old Anambra graduate bagged a first class in pharmacy at Voronezh State University, Russia, with a cumulative grade point average of 4.65, making him the first Nigerian to achieve this feat in the history of the faculty. Congratulations, Okoro. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
That has been the diaspora for this week. Keep a date with us next week. See you then, and stay positive. Bye for now.